Hey everybody, Dennis here. As promised, I wanted to give you my opinions on the three, I'm going to call them flagship synth keyboards from the big three keyboard instrument makers. I have owned all three of these in the last few years, so I think that makes me at least somewhat qualified to give you my opinions on them. So we've got the Roland Fantom, and I had the Fantom 7. We have the Nord Stage 4, and I owned the Compact 73 model, and the Yamaha Montage M7. I put some basic categories here, things that are important to most players. Number one, the acoustic piano sounds. I rate the Montage M7 and the Stage 4 Compact 73 pretty much a tie for their acoustic piano sounds. Yes, there are certain Nord fans who think the Nord White Grand is better than any other acoustic piano from synth keyboards. I think Yamaha's CFX2 acoustic piano is right up there with Nord's White Grand. Again, subjective, my opinion. The Fantom 7, I think, not quite up to the level of the acoustic piano sounds on the Nord Stage 4 and the Montage M. Tone wheel organs. Okay, here's where Nord and Fantom beat out Yamaha. Nord's probably got the best tone wheel organ generator of these three, but the Fantom 7, their tone wheel organ sound engine, I think is very, very close to the Nord. Yamaha, not so much. That's their weakest place right now, at least for the Montage and the Mo DX series. Next, electric pianos. That's Fender Rhodes, Whirlies, DX7 type keyboard sounds. All three keyboards excellent. I do think that Montage excels for those, especially when you consider how many different electric pianos and DX7 type pianos the Montage M keyboards give you. I want to just take a couple of minutes to talk about electric piano sounds, particularly the classic Fender Rhodes electric piano sounds, and talk about, I want to just compare what you get on the Montage M and the MoDX M with what you get on the Stage 4. I'm going to start with this recording, which goes back to the 70s by a group called Stuff. It's a song called Do You Want Some of This? And the keyboard player was Richard T. That's T-E-E. Great player. And he's playing a Fender Rhodes on this particular recording that is probably a 1974, and it's highly likely that it was modified by a guy named Eddie Reynolds. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But let me just play for you just a little section here featuring that Fender Rhodes sound. Here we go. Okay, so you can hear that there's a phaser effect, and I think Richard T. used a phaser pedal. I couldn't tell you which one exactly. So let's go over to Logic Pro. I did a cover of the song Do You Want Some of This? I used a Keyscape Custom Rhodes 74. Let me just play a little bit of this for you, and I think that Keyscape Custom Rhodes 74 is very, very close to what you just heard on that Richard T. recording from the 70s. Here we go. Okay, pretty close. So here I'm going to open up Keyscape, and here is that keyboard. And you'll see that I've got a chorus effect instead of a phaser. Not sure why I did that, but chorus and phaser often sound pretty similar, and I guess for whatever reason I like this particular chorus effect here. Here's what Keyscape has to say about that 1974 customized Fender Rhodes. They start out by saying, remember that incredible Rhodes sound from all those records in the 80s, and really it goes back to the 70s. It's a customized 1974 Fender Rhodes. They even give the serial number. So Keyscape got a hold of that particular piano and sampled it, and they sampled it beautifully. They go on to say, the instrument's extraordinary sound comes from Eddie Reynolds, the legendary 80s era LA keyboard technician who performed his wizardry on this unique electric piano, which was often rented and used on hundreds of famous albums. Now, I want to play for you the Yamaha Montage M version of that sound, and I'm going to just play it live here. I started with a factory performance on the Montage called 73 Tyne, and I applied a phaser effect. So here it is. So pretty close. Let me play. I'm going to solo the Keyscape track, then I'll play my Montage version of that same sound, and I think it's pretty close. So here we go. Okay, that second one was me playing the 73 Tyne patch with a phaser effect applied to it. Now the reason I'm bringing this up is when I had my Nord Stage 4, I wanted to get this sound. I liked it. I wanted to just get that something similar on the Stage 4. I could not do it. Nord gives you, last time I checked, 9 sample sets of Fender Rhodes type electric pianos, and I think 2 of those might be Wurlitzers actually. And they're all pretty, they're all mellow. They're nice tone. You don't find the bark and the brightness that you get on many of these Fender Rhodes sounds that come with the Montage M and the Montage M7. I mean, for example, here's Tyne 78. Yeah, so that's a pretty Fender Rhodes sound, and there's lots of nice ones on the Montage. Many of the Fender Rhodes sounds on the Nord Stage 4, actually all of them, are mellow. They're pretty and they're warm, but you don't get the brightness and the bark that you get with a lot of these Rhodes pianos on the Montage M and the Montage M7. Next, synths. Some people would argue that the synth sound engine in the Nord Stage 4 is superior to what you get on the Montage and the Fantom. Well, you could probably make that argument, and I wouldn't dispute it, but I think there's so many great synth sounds on both the Montage M and the Fantom keyboards that it's really nitpicking to say that the Nord is superior. Orchestral instruments, I'd have to say that Yamaha beats Nord and Roland. Things like strings, brass instruments, woodwind instruments. Now, I don't use those sounds much at all on the keyboard because I think they almost always sound fake. But if that's important to you, if you want good string sounds and good brass and woodwind sounds, etc., then I think the Montage M series is going to give you higher quality for those sounds than the other 2. Drums, again, I would give the Montage the advantage there. Nord has almost no drums, very, very little, if any, drum sounds built in. The Fantom, very nice drums, just not quite, in my opinion, up to the level of the Montage. The sequencers, again, this is totally unimportant to me. I've never done sequencing with a keyboard. I think the Roland's probably got the best of the 3 for sequencing. Between the Nord Stage and the Montage, I wouldn't pick one over the other. But again, it's not something that I do. Now, display. This was a big one for me. When I was gigging many years ago, I had a Montage, and the Montage had a screen very similar to what you see on the Montage now, and also the new Montage M. That screen, it's large, and it shows you 16 patches, or what Yamaha calls performances, per screen. 16 on a screen. The Montage and the Montage, they have this live set area where you can copy the various sounds into that live set area and arrange them. You can customize them and rename them. And I'll talk a little bit later about how I've customized some of the sounds and named them. That screen to me was a big deal. When I had the Nord Stage 4 and I was doing gigs, the very small screen on that Stage 4 keyboard was limiting. Yes, you can create and save your own custom patches easily enough, but then calling them up is not, it's a little cumbersome. You have to keep more in your head where things are located so you can find them when you're doing a gig. With the Montage that I had years ago, and of course the Montage has the same screen. For example, I was playing with a party band, and our sets were typically no more than 16 songs. And so what I would do is I would create one live set screen with the songs that were going to be in the set, and then a second screen for the second set, and a third screen for the third set. And I would also name the performances with the names of the songs. So it was very easy on a gig to just go in and touch that touch screen to move from one song to the next. It just made gigging a lot less stressful than having to navigate through the small screen on the Nord Stage 4. I'm sure many people will disagree with me, Nord enthusiasts, Nord fans, but I found that Nord screen to be a little difficult to use in a live gig setting. So that's something to consider. I'll talk about price and weight. First of all, weight. The Fantom 7 comes in around 39 pounds, I believe. The Montage M7 is somewhere in the 36, 37 pound range. And the Stage 4 Compact 73 is just 23 pounds. So if lightweight is a big factor for you, then hands down, that Stage 4 Compact 73 is the much better keyboard to gig with. Next, price. Nords have gotten very expensive, as I'm sure you know. The Stage 4 Compact 73 is up, I believe, in the $5,300 range now. That's US dollars. The Montage M7 is right around $4,000. And I think the Fantom 7 is right around $4,000 or possibly $4,100. So none of them are cheap, but they're all very fine. The Nord, a lot of professional players, they're willing to spend the money for it. Nord's got a very devoted following, and rightfully so. It's a great keyboard. Now, having said that, there are three disruptors, I'm going to call them, or three alternatives to these. In the Roland world, you have the Fantom 0 series. There's a 06, 07, and 08. I think it's a 0 and not an O. Please correct me if I'm wrong. In the Yamaha world, they've got the Montage M, which I think is a tremendous value at about half the price of the Montage M. In Nord world, Nord has the Electro 7 that's just been released. Although it's a lot less expensive than the Stage 4 series, I think that the Nord Electro 7 with the 73 keys, synth-weighted action, I believe that keyboard will be selling for around $3,500. So compared to the Montage M at $2,000 and the Fantom 07 at about $2,100, that Electro 7 is still pretty expensive. But obviously it's an excellent Nord keyboard. And I guess that's it in terms of features. Oh, I want to talk one more thing, the key bed, the key action. The Compact 73, let me talk about that. The key action was very good, very fast. Nord has it on the Stage 4 series. They have a triple sensor in each key, which supposedly gives you somewhat faster response, especially when you're hitting repeat notes. And for me, yes, it was fast, but on my Montage M7, I think the key bed is every bit as nice. In fact, I think it's a little smoother. The Compact 73 key bed had a slightly cheaper feel to it, just slightly clackety. The Montage M7 to me feels more premium, smoother. I think it's delightful to play. I just love playing on the M7. The Fantom 7, very close to the Montage M7 key bed action. I would just call it also excellent. I would probably give the nod to the M7, slightly over the Fantom 7, but both excellent actions. And for that matter, the Compact 73 action is very good too. Just not quite as quiet and silky smooth as the Montage M7 keyboard. Again, this is subjective, but I'm just giving my opinions. Let's talk about computer integration. Two of these keyboards will actually send audio via USB into your computer. That would be the Roland Fantom and the Yamaha Montage. If you look at this little chart here, and this was generated by Gemini. Thank you, Gemini. You'll see that the Montage will send 32 channels of audio over USB into the computer, and you can send 6 channels of audio back out over that same USB connection. The Roland Fantom has 16 channels of audio that you can send out into your computer, and you can take three channels of audio back into the Roland. The Nord Stage 4 keyboards do not have any audio over USB capability. All 3 keyboards let you send MIDI data over the USB. The Yamaha Montage and the Roland Fantom, they actually give you control of some of the most common DAWs like Logic Pro, Cubase, and a few others directly from the keyboard. Roland's a little better in that regard. Roland gives you a very powerful and nice control of DAW functions from the keyboard itself. The Montage does the same, but not quite to the extent that the Fantom does. The Nord stage doesn't do that at all. If you want to send audio from the Nord into a computer, you've got to run the output of the keyboard through an audio interface and then into your computer. The Montage and the Fantom clearly are ahead of Nord in that functionality. Before I move on to talking about how I set up my live set area, I wanted to show you another feature that you get with the Montage M series, and you also get it with the Montage M series. And that's something that Yamaha calls the expanded soft synth plugin. And that's a plugin that you can use in your DAW. And I'm in Logic Pro here, which is the DAW that I use. And to access that Yamaha soft synth plugin, you just create a MIDI track. Here we go. I'll create it. I'll close this over here. And by default, Logic gives you an electric piano from the Logic Pro library of instruments. So what you want to do is go down to AU Instruments, Yamaha Corporation, Expanded Soft Synth Plugin for Montage and Stereo. So now I've got a MIDI track that has this soft synth plugin as its sound generator, if you will. And what it is, it's all the sounds that you get in the Montage M and in the Montage M. And you can browse through sounds by clicking on this magnifying glass. And you can filter this list by, well, first of all, nothing. So now it's going to show you every single performance that's in the keyboard, which I think is over 3,000, some ridiculous number. You can filter that by the basic type of sound you want. This would be acoustic pianos, electric pianos, organs, guitars, etc. You can also search by any word. I'm going to say search for felt. I'm looking for felt pianos, and there we go. So these are all the felt pianos that are currently in my Montage, and so I'll pick this one, and we've got it. I would rename this typically Montage ESP. Okay, and you're going to hear it. There it is. So that's a very powerful thing that you get for free when you buy the Montage M, any Montage M, or any Montage M. And of course, it's only of use to you if you are a DAW user. I know a lot of keyboard players are, and it's a really nice extra that Yamaha throws in. Finally, I'm going to wrap up this video by showing you my live set area and how I've created pages in that live set area for acoustic pianos, electric pianos, DX type pianos, etc. Each page having 16 performances. So here's the first page, and you'll see it's Spank User 1. You can label each page anything you want. So this one's just called Pianos. These are all the acoustic pianos that I like, my favorite acoustic pianos. And if I touch here, the down arrow, that takes me to the next page in the live set area, and it's labeled EPs, electric pianos. These are all the Fender Rhodes sounds that I like. Okay. Next page. These are FM and DX type pianos. And the first one is just called Ballad Key. You get the idea. And then I've got more pages. Next page is organs. Next page is soundscapes and pads, etc., etc. I'm going to wrap it up there for this video.